Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya wal Mursaleen. Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. We were just finishing our talk about Sayyiduna Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu and how Sayyiduna Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu was martyred. During his last days, we have heard that his house was surrounded for approximately 40 days. And during his last days, there was a time when he looked out of the window of his house and people were surrounding it, and he asked them questions. Why are you after my life? What have I done wrong? I haven't killed anyone, so you could kill me in retaliation. I haven't fornicated, so you could kill me, rajam of me, stone me to death. And I haven't become apostate, murtad. These are the three reasons for killing someone. I haven't done any of these, so why are you after my life? Leave me alone. And then he mentioned some of the things. The Sahaba said, agreed that he is right. However, the rebels, they were adamant upon taking his life. And they somehow forced their way in and murdered Sayyiduna Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu. He was Shaheed Mazloom, as we said. Sayyiduna Ali Karamullah Wajhahu tried to give him as much support as he could. He asked for water and Sayyiduna Ali sent water carriers for him. He sent Hassan Hussein to surround the house and take care. The Sahabas never thought that the day would come when Usman would be killed. They thought that this surrounding would go, muhasara would go for a few days and then everything would cool down. But the inevitable happened that Sayyidina Usman was murdered. Now, what were the Sahaba Ridwanullahi Majma'in's reaction upon this? Sayyiduna Qais ibn Ubadah radiyallahu anhu says that in Jangi Jamal, I heard Sayyiduna Ali Murtaza Karamallahu Wajhahu say, "Hey Allah, मैं तेरे सामने खून उस्मान से बेजारी जाहिर करता हूँ। जिस रोज उस्मान शहीद हुए थे, मुझे इस कदर गम हुआ कि मेरी अक्ल ज़ाहिल हो गई और मुझे अपनी जिंदगी बुरी मालूम हुई। लोग मुझसे बैयत करने आए तो मैंने कहा मैं इनसे हया करता हूँ कि इन लोगों की बैयत कबूल करूँ जिन्होंने ऐसे शख्स को कत्ल किया है जिसकी शान में रसूल खुदा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया था कि उससे फरिश्ते हया करते हैं, और मुझे इस बात से शर्म आती है कि उस्मान शहीद कर दिए गए और उनको दफन से भी रोका जाता है." Sayyiduna Ali Murtaza radiyallahu karramullahu wajhahu said that the day Usman was martyred, I had so much grief in me that my aql and my understanding just deserted me for a while. I could not understand, I couldn't take it. And I was feeling bad inside me that this happened to Sayyiduna Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu. People came rushing to me and said, "Do bayat," and I said, "No, I'm not going to do bayat to you. You have just done this and you come to do bayat to me, go away from here. And you have murdered such a person regarding whom Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that even the Farishta and the Malaika feel modesty from Sayyiduna Usman radiyallahu anhu." And Muhammad ibn Hatim says that Sayyiduna Ali karramullah wajhahu was in Iraq, Kufa, and I was going to Medina Munawwara, so I asked him, if people inquire from me regarding Usman radiyallahu anhu, what type of a person he was, then what should I say? And he said, you tell them, كَانَ مِنَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا ثُمَّ اتَّقَوْا وَأَحْسَنُوا وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. He was from those who believed and then he held on to taqwa and he did virtuous deeds, and Allah loves those who do good and virtuous deeds. Sayyiduna Hassan ibn Ali karramallahu wajhahu once he came and he said, "People, last night I saw an amazing dream. I saw that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is on the throne, Arsh, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came and held on to one leg of the throne of the Arsh. Then Abu Bakr Siddiq came and he put his hand on the shoulder of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and stood by his side. Then Umar came and he put his hand on the shoulder of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu and stood with him. Then Uthman came and in his hand was his head, and he was crying and he was saying, "Oh Allah, ask ask the people, for what reason did they murder me and they kill me?" And he says that as Usman was saying this, I saw that two parnalas of blood started flowing onto the earth, and blood was flowing on over the earth. Sayyidina Ali Karamallahu Wajhu was told that Hassan related such a dream, and he said he has related what he saw, meaning he is right and that dream is correct, that due to the murder of Usman radiallahu anhu, so much blood has been shed. And Usman said, "Oh people, if you murder me," before his murder he said, "if you murder me, then you will not be able to get together, and the infighting and civil war will start and will never stop till the day of Qiyamah." And this is what happened. Before Usman's murder, there was no civil war. And since then, civil war has started and it's not stopped and is still continuing. So, this is what he said. Sa'id ibn Zayd radiyallahu anhu said, "ए लोगो, तुमने जो जुल्म उस्मान पर किया है, अगर उसकी वजह से उहद पहाड़ हट जाता, तो भी हक बचा निकता." The zulm and tyranny you have shown to Usman radiyallahu anhu, if the Mount Uhud was to move from its place due to that, then it would have been correct and right. Abdullah ibn Salam radiyallahu anhu said to people, "O people, look, don't murder Usman. Otherwise the sword which will be placed on you will not be lifted from you till the day of Qiyamah." When some people murder a prophet, then for one prophet 70,000 people are murdered with civil war. And when people kill the Khalifa and successor of a prophet, then half of that, 35,000 people are murdered because of that. And after Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu was murdered, he said, लोगों ने अपने ऊपर फितने का दरवाजा खोल लिया जो अब क़यामत तक बंद नहीं होगा. Hazrat Zayd ibn Thabit radiyallahu anhu cried so much on the day Hazrat Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu was martyred. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu was very, very grieved, and he would say that, "Hi, मुझे लोगों को तो सिर्फ एक गम हज़रत उस्मान का है और मुझे दो गम हैं." That people have one grief, shahadat of Usman, and I have two griefs. One is shahadat of Usman, and the second is that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had given me a bag filled with dates, and I used to keep that with me, and due to the barakat of the du'as of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that used to stay always by my side. But the moment Usman was murdered, that bag disappeared, and now I have been deprived of that barakat. Meaning, barakat chali gayi shahadat Usman ki wajah se. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu फरमाती थी, अगर सब लोग हज़रत उस्मान के कत्ल पर मुत्तफिक हो गए तो यकीनन आसमान से पत्थर बरसते. If everybody had collaborated and agreed on Usman's murder, then the stones would have rained from the skies. And it was only a group of people, that's why people were saved. Majority were against it. Otherwise, if everybody got together, then stones would have rained from the skies. Momineen Aisha radiyallahu anha heard about the shahadat, and he said, लोगों ने उनको कत्ल कर दिया, हालांकि वो सबसे ज़्यादा रिश्ता जोड़ने वाले और सबसे ज़्यादा खुदा से डरने वाले थे. People have killed him while he was the most in joining relationship with relatives, and he was the most in fearing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu was very pious. We mentioned some of his sayings before, and they are mentioned over here. So Sayyiduna Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu was killed in this way. Now what happens after Sayyiduna Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu is buried, and people get together and they give bayat to Hazrat Ali Karamallahu Wajhu. Hazrat Ali Karamallahu Wajhu is made Khalifa in the year 35 after Hijrah. Hazrat Usman was murdered on the 18th of Zilhijjah, 35 after Hijrah. And his Khilafat was just a few days short of 12 years. So he remained Khalifa for 12 years, only 12 days less. 12 years, 12 days less. Because Hazrat Umar was martyred on the 1st of Muharram, and after 3 days he became Khalifa, and here is 18 Zilhijjah. So very short period between 12 years, a few days less. Hazrat Ali Karamallahu Wajhahu becomes Khalifa. So we move on to the next Khalifa, Sayyiduna Ali ibn Abi Talib Karamallahu Wajhahu. Sayyiduna Ali Karamallahu Wajhahu's name is Ali ibn Abi Talib. His laqab is Asadullah al-Ghalib, Lion of Allah. And his kunniyat and agnomen is Abu al-Hasan, due to his eldest son, Abu al-Hasan, Hasan ibn Ali Karamallahu Wajhahu. And also his kunniyat is Abu Turab. Turab means mitti, dust. And he used to like this kunniyat of Abu Turab because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had given him. So once it so happened that he had some disagreement with Sayyidatuna Fatimatu Zahra radiyallahu anha, like every husband wife has. So he was a bit displeased and he left the house and he went inside the masjid and fell asleep in the masjid. There was no chatai or carpet or anything. He slept on the floor in the dust. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam happened to come to Fatima's house and he asked, "Where is your cousin?" And she replied that we had some disagreement and he went out. I don't know where he's gone. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent someone. Oh, is that the case? So he sent someone, go and look for him. And someone came and said that he is in the masjid, lying down. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself went to the masjid and he woke him up and he was clearing the dust from his back and he was saying, "Qum Aba Turab, Qum Aba Turab." Mitti wale khade ho ja, mitti wale khade ho ja. So Abu Turab means mitti wala because Ab means sahib as well. So Ab doesn't always mean father, it or sometimes it means sahib. So Abu Turab means sahib Turab. So one covered in dust, get up. So Ali Karamallahu Wajhahu, he said, "Bhai, yo bibi ke saath aisa jhagda nahi karte, chalo, aa jao." And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought him back and made union between them. Go. So that is why after this, Ali Karamallahu Wajhahu like this kunniyat and agnomen of Abu Turab, that the Rasulullah gave me this. So this is his kunniyat. He is the son of Abu Talib. He was the youngest son. Abu Talib had 4 sons, Talib, Aqil, Jafar and Ali. So Ali was the youngest. His grandfather is Abdul Muttalib, who is also the grandfather of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they both join there in the grandfather. Rasulullah's father is Abdullah and his father is Abu Talib, both sons of Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib was tall, handsome, and he was built, and he had a long life. Sayyiduna Ali Karramullah Wajhahu, the grandson of Abdul Muttalib, was also handsome. However, he was a little bit darker in complex, and his height was of medium. He was not very tall, and his shoulders were broad, and his arms were filled, and his upper arm and his lower arm was nearly same in size, and they were filled. And when he would grab someone's hand, he would press it so much that the other person would find it hard to breathe, and he couldn't free himself from Sayyiduna Ali Karramullah Wajhahu. At the same time, Sayyiduna Ali Karramullah Wajhahu had a bit belly as well. His eyes were broad and filled. He had a large forehead, and he had less hair. He had sort of a tal, bald on his head, and he used to shave most of the times, and he didn't used to keep hair. And he was very strong and built. Sayyiduna Ali Karramullah Wajhahu was born nearly 10 years before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's messengership. So when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was blessed with prophethood at the age of 40, Sayyiduna Ali Karramullah Wajhahu was 10 years old. And he used to live in the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because in Quraysh there was some crisis, and Abu Talib was also afflicted by that. Times were hard. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke to Abbas that, "O Abbas, Abu Talib is your elder brother, and we know that he is going through some hard time. So why don't we help him by taking some of his children in our homes so Abu Talib can feel at ease?" So Abbas said, "Yeah, that's a good idea." So they came and they spoke to Abu Talib, and Abu Talib said, "Okay, leave Aqil with me and you can do whatever you like with the rest." So Abbas said, "I will take Ja'far," and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "I will take Ali." So Ali came and started living with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so while he was there, he saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam before prophethood, and he used to stay very close, observe him, look at him. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is blessed with prophethood, he is among the first to embrace Islam. The first is Khadija radiallahu anha, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came from Ghari Hira and she was the first one to accept. And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was the first among the male and Ali was the first among the child. He came and he saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Khadija radiallahu anha praying, performing salah. So he asked, what is this? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained Deen Islam, that I have been sent as a Rasul, messenger, Allah is one. You should worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and give up the worshipping of Allat and Al-Uzza and other idols who cannot harm nor benefit. And we should believe in Allah. And Allah is one, I am His messenger. So do you want to enter into our deen? And Ali Karamullah Wajhu said, I have never done anything without the mashwara of my father. So if you allow me to speak to him first, then I'll embrace. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, at the moment, I want to keep things quiet. I don't want anybody to know. So if you want to embrace, okay. Otherwise, don't tell your father at the moment. Ali said, okay. The night passed by. Next morning, Ali came and he said, I don't want to consult my father. I want to embrace Islam. And he embraced Islam himself. Now, he was among the first. They used to go and pray quietly, secretly. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, along with Ali karamallahu wajhahu, sometimes with Khadija, they would go out of the home, along the mountains, and between the valleys and between two mountains, behind rocks, they would pray namaz regularly. Once they were praying and Abu Talib passed by. And Abu Talib asked, what is this? What are you doing? And Ali said that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been sent as a messenger and I have believed in him and I have started praying namaz with him. So Abu Talib said, what you are doing is good. However, I can't do what you are doing because I can't lift my buttocks up. Meaning in sajda you have to raise your buttocks. I can't keep my buttock higher than my head. So Ali Karamullah Wajhu used to remember his father's remarks and he used to laugh sometimes after that. My father said this when he saw me doing sajda, that I can't put my head lower than my buttocks. So he said, but keep doing what you are doing. Ali Karamullah Wajhu stayed with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the beginning, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given the instruction, now wanzir ashiratak al-aqrabin, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Ali to go and call the immediate family members, his uncles and cousins, and they were all gathered together. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Ali to prepare some dawat, and they had prepared dawat. One lamb or one goat meat and one bowl of milk was brought, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Ali, bring it. He brought it, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Bismillah, and eat. Everybody started eating. There was so much barakat in that meat that and in that milk that it was normally one person from among them would finish all that meat and drink all that bowl of milk. However, there were about 30 of them and they all ate and drank and still there was left in them. And they realized this miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam offered Islam to them. That you have taken this food, but now I want to give you something better. And that is Deen Islam. But Abu Lahab said, no, we don't want to hear you. Go away from here. Don't speak anymore. And he didn't let Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam speak. After a few days, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam kept another dawah. And at this moment, when the dawah finished and people finished eating, Ali Karamullah Wajhu himself stood up before anybody because he was a child and people couldn't say anything to him. So he said, oh my uncles and oh my aunties and cousins, whatever I am telling you that he is a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You must believe in him and it is better for you. And he said to his father Abu Talib as well, that dear father, you should also believe in him. So the message went through, and however, again, they did not respond, they refused to believe and they went away. Sayyiduna Ali Karamullah Wajhahu is with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. During the early days, one person, Abu Zar Ghifari radiallahu anhu, comes from his place, Ghifar. And Ali Karamullah Wajhahu sees him inside Masjid Haram throughout the day. When night falls, he sees that he's still there. So he asks him, do you have any place to stay over here? He said, no. Okay, then come stay at my house. So he brings him to his house, stays the night. In the morning, he goes back in Masjid Haram. Next night, he sees him there again. So he brings him again. And for a third night, Then he asked him, if you don't mind, can I ask you why you are here, for what reason? And I said, if you tell me the truth and promise not to tell anyone, I will tell you. Ali said, okay, no problem, I won't tell anyone. He said, I have heard about this person claiming to be a prophet, and I have come to meet him. Is there any way where I can find him, I can meet him? He said, oh, I'm his cousin, and I have also embraced Islam, and I believed in him. So he is at one place, in a secure place called Darul Arqam, and I will take you there tomorrow morning. So you follow me. However, if I see anything suspicious, I'll just sit down like as though I'm going to pass water, or I'm tying my shoelace or something, and you keep walking. Otherwise, if there is nothing suspicious, nobody notices us, then keep following me at a distance, and then I'll take you there, and then there you can meet him. I said, okay. So next morning he brought Abu Zar to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Abu Zar Ghifari radiallahu anhu embraced Islam. So Ali karamallahu wajhahu, from the very beginning, he is with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. During the time, as things move on, the 3 years of Sha'bi Abi Talib, he is with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he is from Banu Hashim. They have been boycotted. He is there with his father and with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Many things placed during this time. And Ali karamallahu was supportive. Then at the time of Hijr, we hear that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam calls Ali, and he says, Ali, I'm going. Now this is something risky, but you have to do it. You have to sleep on my bed. And here are all the bags filled with coins, and the names are on there. They belong to so and so person. So when I leave, and you go out there and give their amanat and trust to the rightful owners. I mean, they used to belie Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but still put their trust in him. So even though they were his enemies, he could have took their money with him upon migration, but he was not a man of money. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not a man of this dunya. He said, I don't want their monies, you give it to them. And Ali karamallahu wajhahu said, no problem. So he slept on the bed, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's house was surrounded by the youngsters. He came out while reading Yasin Sharif, and he sprinkled some dust on their heads and kept walking. And their eyes were covered, they couldn't see Rasulullah. He went to the house of Abu Bakr, and they walked till Ghar Sawr. They hid in there for 3 nights, and then they left. Over here, in the morning, they were about to ambush in the house, and suddenly Sayyiduna Ali karamallahu wajhahu, the young man, comes out, and he asked them, what are you doing over here? And they said, oi, where is Muhammad? They said, Muhammad is not here. Then who was that sleeping on the bed you could see from the window? And they said, that was me. So where is Muhammad? How do I know where he is? He's not here, it was me, I was sleeping there. So they grab hold of him, and they take him to the Masjid al-Haram. Abu Jahl is there, and everybody is panicking, and the word goes out that Muhammad has escaped, Muhammad has escaped. And Ali karamallahu wajhahu is he's being smacked and hit and asked, but he said, I don't know where he's gone, and he really didn't know. So they start searching. However, the story of Hijrat happens, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam arrives. And over here, during the 3 days while they were there, Ali karamallahu wajhahu, within these 3 days, he goes out and gives all the amanat and the money to the rightful owners. And then he himself travels and migrates. And he joins Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam while Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is still in Quba. And he has not entered Medina city. So he is also there with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam from the first day, and he goes in Medina Sharif with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, Battle of Badr takes place, and this is the first moment when Ali karamallahu wajhahu shows his bravery, and he is among the first 3 to go into the middle of the arena for the brawl and for the commencement and starting of the battle. He and Hamza and Ubaidah ibn al-Haris, and they fight and they kill their enemy, and then the war takes place, and the Muslims win. And this is among the braveries of Sayyidina Ali karamallahu wajhahu. During the battle of Uhud, same thing happens. He shows his bravery and he is there. However, due to some mistake, the battle which was won turned into defeat. Win turned into loss, and Sahabas were defeated. rumor spread that the Prophet ﷺ has been murdered. However, Rasulullah ﷺ was alive. Ali Karamallahu Wajhahu just went berserk like all others, and he started looking for Rasulullah ﷺ. He was told that Rasulullah ﷺ is over there in the Mount Uhud, inside so and so secure area. He was taken there and to safety, and it is said that this is miracle, mu'jiza of Rasulullah ﷺ, that he went into a small place, and where Rasulullah ﷺ rested and he put his head, the rock and the stone became like sponge and takiya and pillow, and it molded according to the shape of the sitting and the head of Rasulullah ﷺ, so he can sit in peace and with serenity. And it's still there over there. People have been there, they have seen, and they could smell so much fragrance in that area where Rasulullah ﷺ had sat even after 1400 years. My friend Maulana Zubair Malik Sahab, he says, when I was young in Medina Munawwara, I have been there myself, I have seen it myself. At the moment, the Saudis, because they don't believe in these things, they've covered it up or did something to it. However, he said, I saw it with my own eyes. So Rasulullah ﷺ sat there, and then when the mushrikeen fled and Rasulullah ﷺ was brought out and his nursing was done, the person who nursed him was Ali Karamallahu Wajhahu and Sayyidatuna Fatimatu Zahra radiyallahu anha. And in this way, their life moves on. In the battle of trenches, Hazrat Ali Karamallahu Wajhahu shows his bravery there as well. And there was this enemy who was singing poetry and asking for a brawl, and the Sahabas could not defeat him. And Ali Karamallahu Wajhahu went, because he had crossed the trench and come on this side. So Ali Karamallahu Wajhahu moved forward and finished him in a blow. And then during the battle of Khaybar was for Sayyidina Ali Karamallahu Wajhahu. Khaybar is an area which is covered by 7 to 8 forts, and each fort had its own what you call protectors, and each fort was underground linked with the others. So all 4 forts were underground connected, and there were tunnels inside. They had made it in such a way. So if some army surrounded them for even a few months, then they would have no problem, because they would have their provisions and everything, they can survive. However, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was very intelligent person, so they focused on one, and they conquered that, and then another one. So the main one which was to be conquered was very hard. And one day, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, tomorrow, he said, Abu Bakr will be given. Abu Bakr was given the Janda and banner flag, and he took the army. However, they could not penetrate the enemies, and the enemies were on the walls, and they would shower arrows, and many Muslims were injured, and they had to retreat. Second day, Sayyidina Umar went, but still no luck. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, along with the Sahaba, was sitting at night, after Isha in the moonlight, and he said, tomorrow morning I will give the flag to someone who loves Allah and His Rasul, and Allah and His Rasul love him, and Allah will give us victory on his hands. So the next morning, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is sitting with the Sahaba after Fajr Salah, and Sayyidina Umar says, I was raising my head, I'm here, Rasulullah. He might give me that, and I could be honored for that victory. And Sayyidina Umar says, Wallahi ma ahbabtul imarata illa yawmaizin. I never loved being Ameer except for that one day. Because Rasulullah has said, Yuhibbullah wa Rasuluhu, Yuhibbullah wa Rasuluhu, Yaftahullah wa la yadayhi. However, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Aina Aliyun? Where is Ali? And someone said, Ya Rasulullah, he's not well, he's sick. He's in his own tent, he prayed his Fajr namaz in his own tent, and his eyes are sticky, and he's got fever. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, call him. So they brought him here. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam applied his saliva into the eyes. And immediately, the pain and the stickiness went away. And he said, Ya Rasulullah, I've got fever, I'm shivering. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allahumma azhib anhu al-harra wal-bard. Oh Allah, remove from him the heat and the cold. This dua reached Ali in such a manner that he would wear warm clothes in summer or normal light clothes in winter, but this would not affect him. He would not feel the cold nor would he feel the heat. His body's temperature would remain normal, same all the time. Because of this dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this was his condition for throughout his life. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Go Ali, take the army with you and attack." And he said, "Ya Rasulullah, upon what?" And Rasulullah, upon that they become like us. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "No, go invite them to the kalima first. If they accept, okay. If they refuse, offer them sulah, peace, jizya. If they accept, okay. But if they refuse, then ask Allah for help and attack." So Ali karamallahu wajhahu now takes the sword and he's stamping his feet and he's moving forward with the army. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ali, ala rislik, take it easy, take it easy." And he said, فَوَاللَّهِ لَأَنْ يَهْدِيَ اللَّهُ بِكَ رَجُلًا وَاحِدًا خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنْ أَنْ يَكُونَ لَكَ حُمُرٌ نَعَمٌ. That Allah guides one person through you is better than owning many, many red camels, which were the most precious assets of that time. So Ali karamallahu wajhahu moves on and he takes the army and he tells them to hold on to their shields and move so that the arrows do not hit them and they don't injure. So they become one unit and they move in one unit towards the fort, and arrows are being showered. The fort is clothed with huge gates, but Sayyidina Ali karamallahu wajhahu somehow manages to get to the gate and the entrance. Now the entrance is locked, but what does Sayyidina Ali karamallahu wajhahu do? He gets hold of that kya kehte hain, halqa kada, the ring around the door. In the olden days, huge doors with the hinges on the side and hole in the middle. So that kada on the hook, he got hold of the hook and he lifted the door. And from the hinges on the side, the door just shook and he pulled the door out. And then Ali used the door as his shield. And the army entered inside. And the enemy never thought that this could happen. Ali karamallahu wajhahu, the whole army entered inside. There was a fierce battle. And the enemy had to throw down their arms. The fight went on throughout the day. And when the battle finished and Ali karamallahu wajhahu threw that door away, Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah narrates in Al-Isaba fi Tamyiz Sahaba that 7 men tried to lift that gate, but they couldn't. No. And Ali lifted that with one hand, and in the other hand he had the sword, and he fought with that throughout the day. When he threw it down after finishing, 7 men could not lift that. Where did this energy come from? From Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that day was for Ali karamallahu wajhahu. And moving on, he participated with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in every battlefield, wherever Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went. In Sulh Hudaybiyah he was with him, in Khaybar he was with him, in Fatih Makkah he was with him. And then in the 9th year, Tabuk incident took place, but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left him in Medina Munawwara as the Ameer of the city of Medina Munawwara. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was away for 2 months. So when he was going, he left Ali that, "Ali, you are the Ameer, because I need someone who is strong, brave, and there are some tribes surrounding Medina Munawwara. They could attack Medina Munawwara. There are some hypocrites here as well. We have to worry about our ladies and children as well. So I want someone who is courageous, and that is you. So you have to take care of Medina while I'm away." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left some other Sahabas as well. Abdullah ibn Maktoum was made the Ameer of Namaz, the Imam of Salat. He used to lead the Salat. He was a blind, but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made him the Imam of Salat, and Ali was the Ameer of the city. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went. Now, when he left the city Medina Munawwara, some hypocrites over here started whispering, Munafiqeen. They started saying, he left his cousin behind because he didn't like him. He doesn't want to take him with him. So Ali karamallahu wajhahu heard this and he was angry. And he got his horse and immediately rode and rushed. And he caught up with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, "Ya Rasulullah, the hypocrites are saying this and I don't like it. I want to go with you. Take me with you." And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, No, Ali, why you don't fall for their trap. Go and what I have told you do. And then he said, أَمَا تَرْضَى أَن تَكُونَ مِنِّي بِمَنْزِلَةِ هَارُونَ مِن مُوسَى. Would you not be happy to have your position with me just as Harun alayhi salam's position with Musa alayhi salam? Meaning, when Musa alayhi salam went to Mount Tur for 40 days for i'tikaf, when he got Tawrat, he left Harun alayhi salam among Banu Israel to take care of Banu Israel. He said, your position with me is like Harun alayhi salam's position with Musa alayhi salam, illa annahu la nabiyya ba'di. Except for one thing, that after me there will be no prophet. So you can't be a prophet. Other than that, we are so close. They were real brothers and we are cousin brothers.
This sentence itself is enough.
This sentence is enough. Very good point. What a point bhi kiya. Some people, some Rawafis say that Ali was the original real prophet, not Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So here what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Illa annahu la nabiyya ba'di," is enough to give a reply to them that no, Ali was not a prophet. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Illa annahu la nabiyya ba'di." So Ali karamullah wajh was happy. He came and he looked after Medina Munawwara very well for 2 months. Now some people also say that this was an indication that he should be made Khalifa after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And our answer to that is, just as they say that just as Musa alayhi salam was Khalifa of Harun was Khalifa of Musa, so Ali should be Khalifa of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We say, wait a minute, 1 minute. Harun alayhi salam only deputized Musa alayhi salam for 40 days, and when Musa alayhi salam came back, he was no longer Musa's deputy. And Harun was not the Khalifa of Musa alayhi salam. Harun alayhi salam died before Musa alayhi salam, 1 year before Musa alayhi salam. And Musa alayhi salam's Khalifa after his death was Yusha bin Nun. So there is no indication towards Khilafat. And number 2, my Ustad Sheikh Yunus Sahab says that Khilafat fil ahl fil hayat, ye Khilafat fil ummat ba'd al wafat ko muqtazi nahi hai. That he made him Khalifa for his family and those city of Medina during his life, does not necessitate him being made Khalifa in the Ummah, throughout the whole Ummah after his wafat and death. Ali Karamullah Wajh also knew this. This is not to make me Khalifa, because when Abu Bakr was made Khalifa and people objected upon that and they said to Ali as well, so Ali replied to them, no, wait a minute. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was ill for a good few days and he used to tell Abu Bakr to go on the Musalla to lead Salat. Whereas I was sitting by him, I would be close to him. He would not tell me to go and lead the namaz. So he said that Rasulullah, whoever Rasulullah chose for our deen, we chose him for our dunya. The most aham and important matter of deen is namaz, salah. Rasulullah chose him for our aham, more important matter, we chose him for our dunya as well. And so Ali Karamullah Wajhu also knew that this is no indication towards his Khilafah, because when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came back after 2 months, he was the Ameer, he was the leader, not Ali Karamullah Wajhu. So Ali Karamullah Wajhu is with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam throughout all expedition. In the year 9, the Hajj, first Hajj takes place with the Ameerul Hajj being Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam conquered Makkah Mukarramah in the year 8 after Hijrah. However, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not perform Hajj that year because in the Makkah Muslims and Mushriks were mixed. And in the year 9, next year as well, there were many Mushriks who came from neighborhood areas, and because some of them had not yet embraced Islam, so they came for Hajj. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not go for Hajj that year as well. He sent Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu with the Hujjaj from Medina Munawwara. When the caravan left, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent with them some sacrificial animals, some camels, and he said that these should be sacrificed on my behalf in Makkah Mukarramah, in Mina, and the meat distributed among the poor over there. So these hadi janwar. So Abu Bakr took those qurbani janwars, animals, and he went with the caravan. After they departed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down the ayat of Surah Barat, in which mushrikeen were given respite of 4 months, and after that they have to either embrace Islam or leave the area of Jaziratul Arab. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to make this announcement in the Mawsim, in the gathering, in the Mina and Arafat and everywhere. So who should he send? He sent Ali Karamullah Wajhu. He said, Ali, you go. And he said, Aliyun minni wa ana min Aliyin wa la yuwaddi anni illa ana aw Aliyun. Ali is mine, I am Ali's. And nobody can deliver my message except me, myself, or Ali. Meaning in the time of Jahiliyyah, there was this custom that if any special announcement was to be made, then it should be made by either the Ameer or the leader of a qawm and people himself, or someone who is a close relative and of that Ameer. So Rasulullah said, Ali is my closest relative. Although there were others like Aqil as well, and he had Abbas and Abdullah ibn Abbas and other cousin brothers, but he said no, Ali is my closest and I will send Ali with this message. So he sent Ali karamallahu wajhahu, and Ali, when he reached and he caught up with Abu Bakr, so Abu Bakr asked him, have you come here as an Amir or Ma'mur? He said, no, you are the Amirul Hajj and I have come to make these announcements. So he went around and made those announcements. Number one, that La yahujju ba'd al-'am mushrik. From next year, no mushrik will be permitted to come in Hajj. And number two, that you have been given permission to stay in Makkah Mukarramah on your deen and religion if you want to for another 4 months. After those 4 months time expires, you either embrace Islam or you leave the city of Makkah Mukarramah. No mushrik will be allowed to stay in Makkah Mukarramah and in this haram area from now on. Number three, from now on, from this Hajj, nobody is allowed to perform tawaf of the Kaaba in naked. You have to cover your body when you want to do tawaf. Jahiliyyat zamana, many people, not all of them, many people used to throw their clothes down and go around Kaaba naked. Men during the day and women during the night. So Rasulullah made this announcement, from now on you have to cover your bodies and properly, in a proper manner, and you can't do tawaf naked. These announcements were made by Sayyidina Ali karamallahu wajhahu. Then they came back. After that, Hajjatul Wada takes place, and in Hajjatul Wada, Sayyidina Ali karamallahu wajhahu, before Hajjatul Wada, was in Yemen. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent him to Yemen. That Ali, the people of Yemen down south need you, go there. And he was made as a qazi and judge for them. And Sayyidina Ali karamallahu wajhahu said, Ya Rasulullah, you are sending me as a judge, and I have no knowledge of judging between people. And he said, he put his hand on his chest and he said, Allah will strengthen you and guide you. And he said, oh Ali, listen to my one advice. When a person comes with some case to you, do not judge without listening to the other person. Listen to both of them. When you hear both stories, then the judgment will automatically come out from their speeches and from their wordings. So Ali says, I held on to this advice, and from then on, I never ever hesitated in a judgment. I would listen to both parties, and then I would give my judgment. And Ali's judgment would be very correct and true. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned some special qualities of his Sahabas, and Ali's special quality which he mentioned was وَأَغْضَاهُمْ Ali. That the one most versed with judgment, with most sound judgment, is Ali karamallahu wajhahu. So Sayyidina Ali went to Yemen, and he was there, he stayed there for a few months, and then he was returning. And this was a time when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was going for Hajj. And Ali knew, he heard that Rasulullah is coming for Hajj. Now Medina is up north, Makkah is in middle, and Yemen is down south. So Rasulullah is coming from Medina to Makkah down south, and Ali is coming from south to north up to Makkah Mukarramah. And they were going to meet in Makkah Mukarramah. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought many sacrificial camels from Medina Munawwara with him. And Ali karamallahu wajhahu also brought many camels. And the total number of camels added up to 100. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was to sacrifice 100 camels in Hajjatul Wada. And from among those camels, 63 were slaughtered by his own blessed hands, and 37 were slaughtered by Ali karamallahu wajhahu. So Ali came and he joined with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Makkah Mukarramah. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, Ali, what is your ihram? Is it of Umrah or is it of Hajj? And Ali said, Ya Rasulullah, when I put my ihram on, I made the intention that my ihram is whatever Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's ihram. That if your ihram is Hajj, mine is Hajj. If yours is Umrah, mine is Umrah. So क्या कहते हैं, मैंने मुअल्लक रखा मेरे ihram को आपके ihram के ऊपर. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I have made ihram of Qiran, meaning Umrah combining Umrah and Hajj. So you have to do that. I have brought Hadi, you have brought Hadi as well, and that is how your Ihram should be, and that is how he put his, performed his Umrah and his Hajj in the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then Ali karamullah wajhahu returned with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Medina Munawwara, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam only stayed alive for another 3 months, and after 3 months Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. And the day Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away was the day of the greatest grief within Medina Munawwara. And Ali karamullah wajhahu was among those who were grief stricken, especially due to his wife Sayyidatuna Fatima Zahra radiyallahu anha. She was in a terrible state. She was crying and remembering Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. At the time of his death, she was by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and when she saw the condition of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she said, "Wa karbabata ila Jibreel an-na'a." That, oh, hi, the parishani and musibat and bechani and anxiety of my father. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam opened his eyes and he said, "La karba ala abiki ba'da al-yawm." There will be no more anxieties and parishanis on your father after this day. Meaning, these are my final moments. During those days when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was ill, Fatima radiallahu anha came to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Aisha radiallahu anha says, I could see her coming, and her mannerism of walk was exactly the same as the walk of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he would welcome her, greet her. When he would go on a journey, Fatima would be the last person he would meet before setting off. And when he would return, she would be the first person he would meet before going to his houses. So Sayyidatuna Fatima came to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she sat with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke to her, and she started crying. And then he said something else, he whispered in her ear, and she started smiling. And Aisha said, I said to myself, I've never seen someone crying and then smiling so quickly, in one instant, one moment, combining both together. So after the majlis finished, I asked Fatima, what was that? What was that? You were crying and then smiling. And she said, no, it's a secret, I can't tell you. And Aisha said, okay, no problem. But after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, Aisha asked her, now you can tell me? And she said, yes, now I can tell you. When the first time he whispered in my ear, he said that I feel my time is near. Because I noticed that Jibreel used to do door of Quran with me once every Ramzan, and this year he has done it twice. So this is an indication that things have been established, everything is set. And now I have to go. I am ill as well. I don't know how long I will be here. So when he mentioned his death, that I'm going to die very soon, I started crying. So he said, don't worry. He said two things according to narration. One, he said, you will be the first among my family to join me. And this was true. Because Fatima only lived 6 months after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She also passed away after 6 months. And second, he said, you will be the leader of the ladies of Jannah. Sayyidatun Nisa'i Ahlil Jannah. Ama tardayna an takuni Sayyidatun Nisa'i Ahlil Jannah. She said, when he said these two things, that's what made me smile and made me happy. So definitely Ali was with his wife, because he is the son-in-law, and he is witnessing all this. Sayyiduna Ali karamullah wajhahu is grief-stricken when Rasulullah passes away. His wife is also grief-stricken. And he was among those who gave ghusl to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Before that, he was among those who would sometimes bring Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for salah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's illness severe on Thursday, and it extended for 3 days. And on Saturday, Zohar time, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam felt a little bit light, and he said he wanted to go and join the salah. Salah had just started. Abu Bakr had stood on the musalla, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam requested that take me in the masjid. So on one side there was Abbas, and on this other side was Ali, and they were both giving him support, and they brought him to the inside the masjid, and his legs were dragging. He was unable to walk properly. So he came in that state with Ali and Abbas, and he sat by Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu, and took the salah from where Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu had started, had was continued from there. And Abu Bakr was doing iqtida and of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, meaning since he was ill and he was sitting down, so his voice was soft and people could not hear him. So Abu Bakr Siddiq was like a mukabbir. He was saying the takbirat with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and people were following Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu. In this manner, the salah took place. And then after salah, they brought Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam back to his house. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passes away, his ghusl was given by Sayyiduna Ali, Sayyiduna Abbas, and his immediate family members. And similarly, with regards to salah, they made mashwara, and Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu said that we can't pray collective salah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We will pray individually. So people come from one side in a line and go out of the other side and keep on moving and praying the salah in this manner. And since Rasulullah is Rasulullah, we can't seek forgiveness for him. So we have to just send Durood Sharif and salawat upon him, say the takbirat and move forward. And that's how they perform the salah. And then they buried Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam where he was. So this is Sayyiduna Ali karramallahu wajhu's life during Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One thing to note over here is his family life. He was married to Sayyidatuna Fatima Zahra radiyallahu anha. When did the marriage take place? After the Battle of Badr, in the year 2 after Hijrah. And Sayyidatuna, how old was Sayyidatuna Fatima Zahra radiyallahu anha? She was born when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was 35 years old, meaning 5 years before prophethood, which means she was 5 years younger than Sayyiduna Ali karramallahu wajhu. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had stayed 13 years in Makkah Mukarramah, and Ali was born 10 years before that. So at migration he was 23, and at the Battle of Badr he was roughly 25, and Fatima was roughly 20. So there is 5-year difference. So Fatima had reached the age of marriage, and Abu Bakr had proposed, Umar had proposed, but Rasulullah had refused. He was waiting for Ali's proposal. And Uthman already had Rasulullah's one daughter, Ruqayya, in his marriage. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was waiting for Ali's proposal. Someone noticed that and said to Ali, why don't you propose for Fatima? And he said, I am a poor person, I don't have any place to live, and I don't have anything to take care of, or even not money to give meher to her, dowry. And he said, Rasulullah is very generous, he will take care of you. Go and propose. One of his friends said. He said, okay. So Ali karramallahu wajhu came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he was extremely shy. He couldn't say anything. He just came and sat. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ali, do you want to say something? Why are you here? And he just kept quiet. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I think you have come to propose for Fatima. And he said, yes. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, okay, do you have anything to give her? And he said, no, I don't have anything. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, where is that armor which I gave you in after the Battle of Badr from Mali Ghanimat? And he said, yes, well, I have that. So he said, okay, then give that as a dowry. And Ali karramallahu wajhu said, okay. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed the nikah. And after the nikah, Ali karramallahu wajhu went and he took that armor and he went to the market to sell it. And Uthman Ghani radiallahu anhu was there. He said, where are you going? He said, I'm going to sell this. How much? How much will you give me? I will give you 400. So Ali said, okay. He took the 400 and gave the armor to Uthman radiallahu anhu. Then Uthman radiallahu anhu said, Ali, I think you need this because you are a very brave warrior. Keep the armors then. Allah. So he gave it back to Ali karramallahu wajhu. And Ali karramallahu wajhu came and told the whole story to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua for Uthman. And Hazrat Ali karramallahu wajhu gave the dowry to Sayyidatuna Fatima Zahra radiallahu anha. In most narrations it's mentioned that he gave 500. So maybe he got 100 from somewhere else and 500 dirhams were given. And this was the normal meher of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which he would take for his daughters and he would give to his wives. And this is why it's called Meher Fatimi. Hazrat Fatima's meher was this much. 500 dirhams our mashayikh, may Allah give them good reward, mashayikh in Hindustan, they took 500 dirhams which were used in that time, they weighed them, and the weight of 500 dirhams came to 132.50 tolas of chandi, silver. 132.5 tolas. Now 1 tola today is roughly 10 grams. So 132.5 will, if you multiply that by 10, will come to 1,325 grams. That is just over 1 kilo. Roughly 1.5 kilo. So 1.5 kilos of chandi is given as meher in that. And that today's market, this tola of chandi is become very expensive, and maybe some time ago it was only about 2 pounds per tola, and 132 times 2 would become 265. So we used to say 265 is Meher Fatimi, but now it's gone up to maybe 10 pounds a tola. So it will go up to nearly 1,300-1,400 pounds. And some places they say it's about 1,800 pounds. So Meher Fatimi is gone quite expensive at the moment due to the inflating of the price of silver and gold as well likewise. So this is how much meher Sayyiduna Ali Karamullah Wajhahu offered to Sayyidatuna Fatima Zahra radiyallahu anha. Nikah was performed. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam called Fatima radiyallahu anha and said, "This is your cousin, and I am giving your hand in marriage, and I am marrying you to the best person for you in my eyes. He is the best for you." And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought some water, asked for some water. Water was brought. He drank some and he sprinkled some on them. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told someone to make some feast, and feast was done, sort of walima type, and their rukhsati or whatever was done. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, "O Ali, when you go," he prepared some dwelling, and he gave to Sayyidatuna Fatima radiyallahu anha in Jahez. Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah alayhi mentioned एक प्याला और एक तकिया जिसमें घास छाल फूस भरी हुई थी, और भूल गया मैं सब जो है चटाई, बिस्तर लेटने की चटाई, बस ये मामूली, और एक बर्तन कुछ दिया, ये मामूली सा जहेज दिया. Simple jahez to show that even a poor person can also marry his daughter, and you don't have to give each and everything. Today people ask for many things. I will give you my daughter, but you need a house, Mercedes car, bed, a washing machine, dishwasher, gas cooker, and what you call microwave, and everything in the household, the whole house. So we have to give the daughter as well, and give the whole house as well. So where can you get this from? This is not what Sharia requires. Simple. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam prepared some dwelling. Sayyidina Ali Karamullah Wajhahu also, made some preparations for walima as well. And next day he did the walima of Sayyidatuna Fatima Zahra radiyallahu anha. They start staying together. However, in the earlier days of Makkah and in Medina, they were going through hard times. But they are going through hard times. They can't have enough food to eat as well. One Sayyidina Ali Karamullah Wajhahu says that we didn't have anything to eat. So I was very hungry. Fatima was very hungry as well. I went out and I saw 1 dinar on the road. And I looked at it. I thought of picking it up. Then I walked a bit. Then I thought that no, maybe it's a gift from Allah. So I took it. I went to the market. I bought some flour and I gave it to Fatima and said, we can make some chapatis with it. And she started kneading the dough, and she was so weak that her head was lowered, and her hair from her head were falling on the dough and touching the dough while she was kneading it due to her weakness. Oh. And she made the dough atta, she made some chapati, and I was still, I had that niggling feeling, and I went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and I said, "Ya Rasulullah, this is what happened." And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Don't worry, eat it. It is a rizq which Allah sent for you." So these were the hard times, and Fatima radiallahu anha, they had great love for one another, and in the beginning they used to live at a distance, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted Fatima to come close, and one of the Sahabis offered his house close to Masjid Nabawi, so they came and started living here. In the beginning, Sayyidah Fatima radiallahu anha used to do all the chores of the house, looking after the horse in those days, taking care of everything, cleaning the house, and making the atta, to the extent that doing the chakki as well, grinder, because the grinder would be really heavy. Grinder is made of two stones, one at the bottom, other on the top, and there is something to go around, or in the middle you throw the beans and the what you call seeds, and then you grind it, and the atta comes from the bottom. So it's heavy work, and you need some muscles and energy, and that is why the old ladies were healthy, because they did not have to go to the gym to do the exercise. This was their exercise. So they used to do this exercise, doing the chakki, kneading the dough, and cooking the pot and everything.
Even
Water, drawing water from the well, washing the clothes. So this was their exercise. Fatima radiallahu anha used to do all that. To the extent that in one hadith it comes that her hand, cracks had developed in her hand, and her hand had become coarse. Stress marks. So once some what you call ghulams and khadim came through Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she came requesting for one slave who could help her with the daily chores, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not in the house. Aisha was there, so she said to Aisha that when my father comes, can you tell him? Can you leave this message? Can you deliver this message? And she said okay. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was busy, and he came late at night, and Aisha radiallahu anha said Fatima had come for this purpose, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not lie down. He immediately went to their house, and Ali and Fatima had lied down. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam entered, and they attempted to get up, but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, don't get up, lie down, stay where you are. And he went and he sat in between them, and he sat cross-legged, and he was touching with one leg Fatima, and with one leg he was on the chest of Ali karamullah wajhahu. And then he said, Fatima, you came to ask for a slave? I said, yes, Abba, I did. And he said, okay, good, slave will come. But shall I not tell you something which is better than a slave for you? And she said, what can be better than a slave for me? She said, and he replied, when you lie down on your bed, read Tasbihat Fatima. 33 times, Subhanallah, 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 Subhanallah. 33 times, Alhamdulillah, 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 Alhamdulillah. And 34 times, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So put your head on the pillow and read these tasbihat, and they will be better for you than a khadim. So he left this, he gave this message, and Fatima started practicing one day. And she is getting the thawab of the tasbihat before going to sleep. And our Hazrat Shaykhul Hadith Maulana Zakaria Rahmatullahi mentions a very nice point in Fazail Zikr, that Allah's Rasul mentioned this tasbihat. He was indicating that a slave or a servant is to help with the daily chores because you get tired. So he said, if you are tired and you read these tasbihat at night, you will get a peaceful sleep and rest. When you get up in the morning, next morning you will be fresh and you won't feel any of the tiredness. This is the indication towards reading these tasbihat when going to sleep at night. So he said, read these tasbihat, they are better for you than a khadim. She practiced this, and that is why these tasbihat are called in our Asian custom tasbihat Fatima, Hazrat Fatima's tasbihat. And she used to read this every night. However, Rasulullah was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't feel for his daughter. So after a few days, some servants, slaves came from somewhere, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought one young boy, one young slave for Fatima. And he said, Fatima, I have brought you someone who can help you with your daily chores. This young boy is a very nice boy, and he will help you, and he will do the outside work for you. And Fatima was very shy person, and at that moment she had only one cloth, and she was struggling to cover her head and cover the rest of her body. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, don't worry, there's only your father over here, or you're a slave, he's only a young boy. So you don't need to struggle so much to cover yourself. Allahu Akbar. So this was the modesty of Sayyidatuna Fatima radiallahu anha. So Sayyidatuna Fatima radiallahu anha and is living with Ali karamullah wajhahu, and they have their first child Hassan, then another child Hussein, and Zainab al-Kubra and Kulthum. And the fifth child is mentioned by the name of Muhsin as well, who died in the infancy. So they have these children and their life goes on. Hazrat Ali Karamallahu Wajhu does not marry anyone else while Hazrat Fatima is alive. After Sayyidatuna Fatima's death, Hazrat Ali married some other ladies as well. And from them, he had plenty of children. Something over, Sayyidina Ali Karamallahu Wajhu had something, I'm not sure, something over 30, 35 children altogether. And you know the amazing thing is, one of his child was named Muhammad, one was Muhammad al-Asghar, another was Muhammad al-Akbar, who is also known as Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiya, because his mother, the mother of the child was from Qabila ibn Hanifa. And one of his child was named Abu Bakr, another was named Umar, another was named Osman.
Allah.
So someone asked him, why did you name your children Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman? He said, I love Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, so I named my child Abu Bakr, Usman, so I can call their names out. And I can remember Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman by calling their names out. This is the love he had for Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman. And today the Rafzi Shias go around saying there was hatred in his heart for them. So Sayyiduna Ali Karamallahu Wajhu's life, we have reached up to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. With regards to his support for Shaykhain, Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, I have mentioned quite a bit in Abu Bakr and Umar and Usman's biography. So we will move on next week with the Khilafat and from there continue with the 5 years of his Khilafat, inshallah, in the next lesson.